Welcome back! Today I'm going on a hike with my sister Caroline, who's an outdoor recreation major and who has recently been certified as a wilderness first responder. Caroline frequents the outdoors in a variety of ways, whether that's hiking, backpacking, or rock climbing. And so today we're going to be asking her some questions about being a wilderness first responder, safety in the outdoors, and her must-haves while recreating outside. Okay, so we are here in Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, which is Caroline's favorite place to be in Michigan, arguably. And we're going to hike the Alligator Hill Trail, which is about 3 miles that we're going to do. We're going to hike to a really pretty overlook, two pretty overlooks, and we're going to ask some questions with Caroline along the way.
Okay, so we're using the term WFR a lot. What does that stand for?
WFR stands for Wilderness First Responder.
So what does this certification allow you to do?
The certification allows me to do quite a few things. Things like giving pain medication, giving epinephrine to those who use it, cleaning and dressing wounds, CPR, different things like that, reducing dislocations. All of that falls under wilderness protocol as a WFR.
So why did you choose to become a wilderness first responder?
I chose to become a wilderness first responder for a few different reasons. One, they were offering it through school, and so it was a really good opportunity that was super convenient. And then for my future career path I'm going into, I'm really interested in guiding, high adventure trips, and different things like that. And doing that, a lot of companies require that you have the Wilderness First Responder certification, because when you're out in the backcountry and something happens, someone needs to know how to handle that situation.
Now, prior to becoming a wilderness first responder, did you ever have an emergency experience in the outdoors?
I haven't had an emergency experience with any of my peers or my friends while out in the outdoors, but I was in West Virginia in fall of 2021 for a rock climbing and whitewater rafting trip, and my friends were rock climbing at one crag, and the group of people that were climbing next to them, one of their friends got bit by a copperhead snake, and it was while he was trying to go to the bathroom off trail. Having those skills prior to that emergency, I would have felt more prepared in how to handle that.
Now, what about being a WFR has changed how you recreate in the outdoors?
I would say that it definitely affects my planning period. It makes me a lot more cautious of what am I going to bring? Do I have a first aid kit? What are the conditions going to be like when we're doing whatever we're doing? If we're just going for a day hike, or if we're camping or rock climbing or anything like that. I feel like before the certification, I kind of just went blindly into whatever I was doing, and I was like, oh, we're just gonna go have fun, it'll be fine, Now that I have the certification, I really take planning and preparing to the next step.
All right, now are there any recreation activities that you're hesitant to try or do now that you are a WFR?
Not so much that I'm hesitant now with my certification, but the idea of mountaineering kind of always made me a little bit nervous. But now, after a lot of the scenarios we did in the WFR course, seeing how accidents can happen so quickly, it can be very intimidating sometimes. With having the certification being held to that higher safety standard, I've done a lot of outdoor recreation activities already. I've done outdoor rock climbing, I've been whitewater rafting, I've been kayaking and hiking and backpacking and all those things. At least until I have more experience in the outdoors, I'm a little hesitant to try something as extreme as mountaineering.
What are your must-have items while hiking?
Safety consideration items, I would say always having some sort of portable first aid kit. Even if you're just going for a day hike, having some sort of first aid kit that's appropriate for the activity you're doing is number one. In the WFR course, we got this little field guide. It has all the information you could possibly need to know about any sort of situation, any sort of emergency. Also, in case I were to get hurt, someone else could see that and they could flip through it and try to find different things in there. And then you should always have water and food.
Now, what items would you recommend for a newer hiker, someone that's maybe never hiked before or has never really done a long trek? What would you recommend that they make sure that they pack in their day packs?
Someone starting off hiking, I would say definitely having a first aid kit first and foremost. Having basic snacks, water, things like that, extras. A map and compass. If you don't have a map and compass, at least some sort of way to kind of know where you're going, whether that's directions on your phone, but in case you don't have service, having an actual tangible map and compass. along with having an extra layer of clothing, whether that be a rain jacket or a base layer, things like that. And then, not an item, but before you do go on any sort of hike, letting someone know where you're going and letting someone know what your plan is, just so that someone knows where you are in case of an emergency arising.
All right, let's end this with your number one safety tip.
There's so many. I would say my number one safety tip is really planning ahead and preparing. No matter what you're doing, if you're just going for a mile hike or walk, or if you're going and summiting Everest, like, you need to plan ahead and prepare, because if you successfully plan ahead and prepare, if an emergency does come up, you're ready for it. You might not be ready for it in the moment. You might freak out a little bit, and that's all natural, expected, but if you plan ahead and prepare, you are going to handle the situation much, much better than if you hadn't planned ahead and prepared.
All right, we are all done. We have hiked 3.3 miles and can't see what our elevation was on my watch yet, but it was probably around 400 to 500.
A lot.
Now, if you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to see any more wilderness first responder videos, let me know. And we can always ask more questions. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them down below. But this is my sister Caroline, a wilderness first responder and outdoor recreation major. Thank you so much for joining me on this hike. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.
So then